So we have discussed in details how this chapter is moving very carefully and systematically. The verse 1 and 2 is nothing but a big sadhana that we discussed in details. And of course, this verse 3 and 4, both we could see that how this Druk-Drushya Viveka and Avasthatraya Viveka, through this two methodology of teaching, how this teaching was unfolded that Jivatma and Paramatma are one and same. In fact, when we looked at 4 and also 5 both, so both we saw as Mahavakyas. And while discussing, then came, interestingly, that when we looked at this, here verse number 6 started talking about Hiranyagarbha. So how this Nirguna Brahma becomes Saguna Brahma, Saguna Brahma with Hiranyagarbha. So, and Hiranyagarbha basically was being presented as Brahman, and from Hiranyagarbha everything comes. So, being Pratyagatma, that Hiranyagarbha becomes Pratyagatma, resides everywhere. So that was being discussed in the verse number 6. While coming to 7, we discussed very carefully that here the Hiranyagarbha was being presented as a prana. So being Prana Shakti, the other name was called as Aditi and also Devatamai. We have discussed in details in the last class how it is called Devatamai. So many gods, goddesses, all this concept we discussed in details. Now while discussing this, so as usual only I have prepared 2 verses I could send because I can talk more but I cannot. So this is what my problem is here. So let us now read beautifully the verse number 8 so that it becomes easier to look at. Aranyo nihito jata vedaha Garvaiva srubhuto garvinibhi Dive dive idyo jagratvihi Havismatbhi manushvebhir ragni Etat vaitat Aranyo nihito jata vedaha Garvaiva srubhuto garvinibhi Dive diva idyo jagratvihi Havismatbhi manushvebhi agni Etat vaitat. Okay, I understand. You understand nothing. Okay, this is the beauty. Okay, if you understand something, then it becomes a little complicated for me because you don't understand anything. That becomes easier for me. But that's not truth. That's not reality. That's not healthy either. Okay. So as we have been discussing this point very carefully, that in previous verses we saw how this Hiranyagarbha as a Brahman, that we discussed also very carefully in the last class, that Ishwaraha Antaryami, Ishwaraha Hiranyagarbha, Ishwaraha Virat, finally all of them are Mithya. So that is the main purpose of the teaching, that we have seen, we have discussed very carefully in details. Now, after discussing that Hiranyagarbha and that to Hiranyagarbha being Prana Shakti in the 2 verses. So in this verse, verse number 8, now the Upanishad is introducing Virat Ishwara. So here says very clearly that Virat is none other than Brahman. That we have to be very clear. So that means we cannot separate Virat from Brahman. So when it says Virat, I hope you understand what is Virat, okay? I am talking, assuming that you know what is Virat, okay? Because you have to know all these things, technical term. So, Stula Nama Rupa. Samashti, Stula, Nama, Rupa is called Virata. Samashti means total. Stula means grass. Nama, Rupa means form. Okay? So Samashti, Stula, Nama, Rupa is called Virata. Samashti, Sukshma, Nama, Rupa with Prana Shakti and all the details called Hiranyagarbha. So this is the difference. Stula and Sukshma, gross and subtle. However, so here, interestingly, now this mantra describes that Virat as Agni. So here Agni Tattvam is brought in as Virata. Because why this Agni Tattva comes as Virata is an interesting point to note. Because the Agni, the fire, is being worshipped by both Karmakandis and by the Upasakas. So Karmakandis means the ritualistic people, those who do the rituals. So they do also worship. And how they worship? A Karmakandi by offering oblations, flour, ghee, rice and different type of offerings are being given onto the fire, and the fire is being sustained. That is how the fire rituals continues. So that means offering flowers etc. into this Yaga Agni, we call as Yaga Agni, is not ordinary Agni, okay? It is not Agni, okay, for this, okay? Remember. Remember, that is Agni Purusha. When I say Agni Purusha, there the God Agni is there, is not mere fire, mere physical Agni. That's why you can see, interestingly, just I would like to tell you, the way the Agni is being lit, we'll be seeing, this is the verse we'll talk. Just contextually I would like to say, the Agni are same for the funeral and Agni is same for big Yaga. You will be shocked and surprised to know the funeral Agni, without knowing, from a distance, even if you see, it automatically creates some type of sadness in you. In fact, in the movies, in Indian movies, there is no body, but they have to shoot funeral. The way they arrange the wood, because there is a trick of arranging. The way they arrange the wood, because they have to follow the way funeral is being done. You understand? The moment the way is being arranged, even if you see in any movie the funeral without anything straight away, you can see that clip, that fire itself, the image of that fire itself will create some type of sadness in you. Of course, if you are a little bit sensitive, okay? If you are stupid, nothing will enter, okay? That's another thing altogether. So here, so that is called Yaga Agni, it's not a mere fire. That's why we say we never ever disrespect when the fire ritual is going on. There's a big concept is behind it. Let me not get into in details. Now what happens at the same time, when this ritualistic or karmakandis do look at and they do offer flowers etc. to the Yaga Agni, that time Upasakas, they do meditate Virat Purusha, means they do superimpose Virat Purusha on Yaga Agni, on the fire that is being lit during ritual, fire ritual. So this is the difference, okay? And when they try to superimpose, and of course this verse we'll talk in details, we'll see. This Yaga Agni is located in, it will say Arani, Arani means like a two piece of wood. It is not like, we put the light, it's not supposed to be, okay? With a matchstick, it's not done. Like nowadays, that's why always I highlight, at least light the lamp, not with the lighter, okay? Lighter is very good for smoking. At least have a matchstick, okay? Where some wood is involved. It's very technical point is there. At least in the matchstick some wood is involved, okay? Because here the fire is being located. The Virat, this is a concept comes. The fire here is Virat Purusha, is being located where? On wood. So what they do generally, traditionally, we have two pieces of wood. When they make some video, you can see how they make this ritualistic fire. It's very interesting. So that will be, we can say Adhararani, then one is, let us say, lower, and other one is upper. One lower wood, upper wood. Interestingly, both woods are different. Yeah, correct. The down below wood will be people tree. People wood, okay? And upper wood will be Swami tree. There is another tree which is very good for Lord Sunny to please, and other Swami tree. Swami, not Sunny. So that is lot of things. So we worship lot of things. In fact, when all these Pandavas, Arjuna and other people, when they went for exile 1 year, so they kept all their weapons in this Swami tree. They handed over, okay, you please protect till we come back and we'll get back from you. So this is the tree called Swami tree. It's very famous. In fact, all over India we do worship. Interestingly, I can tell you, during this Vijayadashami time, especially on Vijayadashami day, in Mysore, the procession of mother will go. It goes up to that Swami tree. So we do worship very carefully. However, here is, there are two wood, one is called people tree, other one is Swami tree, and the scoop is being made nicely. Between the scoop, that as they started churning, so from that some spark will happen, and of course there is a process to catch that spark and lead the fire and get the fire. So that is what is being said. So here it says, if we look at very carefully, he gives the example that how this Virat Agni or this Agni is being located carefully in the Arani wood, means both two pieces of wood, Arani wood. Same way, like the gives is being protected. How? Just as how the fetus is being protected by a pregnant woman. Such a beautiful concept to observe. Why? That also we need to understand very clearly and carefully. When we say, when Agni Tattvam or this Virata, so Virata now also is being located in the individual. So how this Virat is located in individual? We say as Vaishwanara. This is called Upasakas. Look at the meditators, those who are alert, those who are disciplined people. Do look at that Vaishwanara is located in every individual as Vaishwanara. Vaishwanara means what? Digestive fire. Remember, okay? Aham Vaishwanaro Bhutva Praninam Dehamashritaha. Hopefully you remember during food time, okay? Then you say, no, Swamiji, we are very smart. We say what? Anna Punne Sada Punne Shankara Prana Vallave. Give me. Who is going to remember all these things? Please, you need to. That's why you need to chant all these things. Because this is the beauty. Upasakas never look at digestive fire as ordinary fire, as ordinary. Common people, this is how people tejas, people energy goes down. We'll be seeing, just observe how a lady, especially a pregnant lady, in order to protect the fetus, she completely changes her way of living, changes her way of thinking, changes her way of activities, because always she is interested, or her focus is what? To protect the fetus. So that means all her activities are governed, are taken care in keeping with the fetus. So also the upasakas do take care of the Vaishwanara in their day-to-day life. So for a upasaka, for a meditator, even for a sadhaka, food is not important. But the Vaishwanara is more important. You understand the concept? What you are putting inside, not just dumping it or for tongue's sake. To understand that Vaishwanara is active. Is it good for Vaishwanara? How this pregnant lady looks at, okay? Is it good for my fetus? Supposed to be, because nowadays women go crazy, especially in Indian women, they want pani puri, okay? They want all sort of funny things to eat. What happens to the child? Of course, don't ask me. But in short, the woman is very careful with reference to the child, or the child that is growing inside, in the fetus, as a fetus. Now, a sadhaka looks at Vaishwanara, the digestive fire that is within, as Virata. And the person always maintains that. So if you are able to maintain that, you will discover your energy is entirely different. This is the secret of maintaining one's own energy. Because there are a lot of other loopholes, let me not get into, because Shastra here will not allow me to talk. So here, to take care of that, generally the upasakas, what they do? Pranaya swaha, apanaya swaha, finally brahmane swaha. You understand? What we call as anna upasana, we do. So anna upasana is nothing. Again, it determines, or it helps what? To make sure that your Vaishwanara Agni is being protected. So we do offer like oblation. And that's why we have a lot of rules with reference to food. So that's why we don't allow the fridge food, cooked food, old food. In fact, interestingly, just I would like to tell you also, which we follow. If any food is cooked more than 4 hours, and I am not destroying you all, okay, today, okay? If any food is being cooked more than 4 hours, not to be consumed, over. And especially in that food, if there is salt added. Without salt, you can have, like for example, rice is being cooked. Rice can be, like morning rice can be taken in the evening. It's allowed. But a morning vegetable, means noon vegetable, cannot be taken in the evening. Impossible. Not allowed. Why? Because the moment the salt and other things are there, the digestive fire, the Virata Purusha will be weaker. So to make sure that at no time you can allow your digestive fire to become weak. The problem with you people, modern people, you want to destroy your digestive fire and you want to be energetic. You understand? Pulling food from the fridge, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, unless it smells, nobody can eat. Means dog cannot eat. That time only you start throwing it. Okay, you understand? I have seen somebody did it. I am not telling you jokes. Kept some food, whether crow is eating or not. When discovered crow does not eat, okay, that means this food is the right time to throw. This is not right. So that's why make sure that never ever eat. You may fast. Make a rule. You may fast, but never ever eat old food. Suppose you have to eat, there is no other choice for you. Eat as less as possible. This is exception, okay? Just namesake touch, not necessarily. Because digestive fire is enough for you to maintain yourself. That's why when you are fasting, the fasting day, you are more energetic. Why? Because your Virat Agni is stronger on that day. Can you see this point? So whenever the Virat is stronger in you, you are energetic. So with this, let us look at the verse, okay? Jata Vedaha means the fire. Nihitaha, which is present. Where? Aranyoho, in the 2 pieces of arani wood. Subhrutaha is carefully maintained. Eva, just as Garbhaha Garbhinivihi, how the fetus is being maintained by a pregnant woman. Agni, that fire. Dive dive idyaha is daily worshipped. By whom? Manushyavihi, by those people. Who are they? Habismadvihi, who are ritualistic. We have discussed. Karmakandis. At the same time, Jagruvadvihi. So Jagruvadvihi means those who are alert. So I have put Upasakas, the meditators. So Jagruvadvihi means those who are alert, those who are careful. So in short, those who are Upasakas. By the Upasakas. Etad vai tat. So whatever you asked, this indeed is that. Means this Atma is indeed what you asked. So here, very carefully, is being highlighted that the Atma is nothing Virata. So when you look at the Virata as Ishvara, please understand, that means what? This Nirguna Brahma is being dressed up. This is called getting dressed up, okay? Nirguna Brahma is being dressed up with what? With Antaryami Ishvara sometimes, as Hiranyagarbha Ishvara, as Virat Ishvara. That means basically all these 3 are nothing but Mithya. Because that is the most important thing. Or else what will happen? You will start holding on to this Virat Purusha, this, that, then finally whole teaching is lost. The purpose of teaching is lost, okay? That's not our teaching purpose. Okay, with this, when you look at very nicely, also we need to see how this next verse, it talks about Hiranyagarbha is no doubt in it Ishvara. And the most important thing is Ishvara being the ultimate cause of this entire universe. The Ishvara does not create the world directly, or the creation does not come from Ishvara directly. Because from Ishvara comes Hiranyagarbha. So because the Hiranyagarbha comes first, that's why Hiranyagarbha becomes intermediary cause and which we call as material cause of this creation. This is a very technical point, please remember. We say God as both efficient cause and material cause. What is that material cause? The material cause is Hiranyagarbha. So we have to look at here technically, if somebody, what is the material cause of this creation? Okay, Ishwara, God, tell, specify. So Hiranyagarbha becomes the material cause. And now, if we observe, because Hiranyagarbha is material cause, so Hiranyagarbha is presented as Srishti Sthiti Laya Karanam. It's a beautiful point. Being material cause, this causes the creation, this sustains the creation. Also, to him, the creation goes back. Changes or destruction happens because of that. So technically we say Srishti, Sthiti, Laya, Karanam. These are the terminology of Hiranyagarbha, okay? Not only Hiranyagarbha becomes Upadana Karanam, efficient cause, so technically pick up, okay? Hiranyagarbha not only Upadana Karanam, material cause, I made a mistake, material cause, also Srishti, Sthiti, Anta, Karanam. So that means what? So entire creation, including all devatas, as well as the direct God for us, which is a great Surya Bhagavan, the sun God, arises out of Hiranyagarbha and again goes back, results back into Hiranyagarbha again. So that means what? If we observe, the Hiranyagarbha becomes the creator, becomes the sustainer, and Hiranyagarbha also becomes the cause of destruction. So if we observe all the devatas, whether we look at macro level or micro level, because we need to look at both ways. Because in macro level devatas, which we discussed in the last class, okay? In micro level, what are they? Sense organs, okay? Please. Please, it's a technical term, that means you are not understanding, no homework, not looking at anything. In macro level, devatas. In micro level, indriyas, sense organs. Or when Agni becomes devata, that means that Agni becomes macro level. So what will be the micro level? Vak indriya. You understand? Vak means the speech. When the Surya becomes devata in macro level, now in micro level what happens? Chakshu. Because these are the basic things, this is the basic point to understand. So those both macro and micro level, they do rest on Hiranyagarbha. In fact, we have a beautiful expression in different places, both in Chandogya Upanishad, Mundaka Upanishad. Like, the example of a wheel, how the spokes are connected to the central hub that of wheel, the central axis or whatever. So also all the spokes stands for devatas, And the central portion where they are connected is called as Hiranyagarbha. Because of whose presence all the spokes moves. All the spokes are called spokes. All the spokes are sustained, maintained. So that's why we have to understand Hiranyagarbha again is nothing but it is Saguna form of Brahma, Saguna Brahma. So because he is being dressed up, here we can say, with name and form, that's why we called as Hiranyagarbha. Don't separate, okay, God and all these things, okay, now father send the child. It doesn't work in that way, okay? So that means what? Ishvara is the father, Hiranyagarbha is the child. Hey, this philosophy will not work here, okay? So there is no separate father unless I have got a psychological problem with my father, you understand? So however, so don't try to say, this Brahman, Ishvara, Hiranyagarbha, Virat, so all are separate, all have these differences. No, please understand. So here we say very carefully, whether it is Ishvara or Hiranyagarbha or Virat, they do not have any independent existence. In fact, they are nothing but Nirguna Brahma. But being presented, being dressed up differently. That's why they are Mithya. So all the three are Mithya, just as though exist. So that means what? We have to see very clearly that Hiranyagarbha is none other than Nirguna Brahma. This is the conclusion. With this, let us look at the verse. Yataschodeti suryah astam yatra cha gacchati tam deva sarve arpitaha tadunanyeti kaschana etat vaitat yataschodeti suryah astam yatra cha gacchati tam deva sarve arpitaha stadhunatyeti kaschana etat vaitat. Last time I did not give the Anvaya, so you can have a look at Anvaya. So because let us follow the trick. Yataha cha suryah udeti yatra cha suryah astam gacchati tam hiranyagarbham sarve devaha arpitaha kaschana tat u na atyeti etat vaitat. Yataha cha suryah udeti yatra cha suryah astam gacchati tam hiranyagarbham sarvehe devaha arpitaha kaschana tat u na atyeti etat vaitat. So if we look at the translation part, so that becomes easier because already I have given you good introduction, so that it becomes easier for you to understand, okay? So that's why it becomes easier. Sarve devaha means all gods. We have discussed in details, okay? Arpitaha are based. Where? Tam. On that. And what is that? Please understand, Hiranyagarbha, okay? So Tam is here Hiranyagarbha. On that Hiranyagarbha, if you want to add, you can that on that in the bracket Hiranyagarbha. So on that Hiranyagarbha. Then what happens? Yataha cha, from which? Suryaha udeti. The sun rises. Means the sun is being evolved. Rises means evolved. New sun is being arised. Okay? New stars. Sun means here star because you know better what physics talks. Means a new creation is being evolved. New sun is being created. Not sun rising and setting. Don't look at physically, okay? Then secondly says, astam gacchati. It also sets. Means get resolved, get destroyed. Goes back. That means when the sun comes, creation starts. When the sun goes back, creation comes to an end. So that's why it presented the whole creation, the whole activities through the sun. Now, indeed, U means indeed, na kaschana, nothing atyeti exceeds. That means nothing can be really changed. That's why etat vaitat. The Atma, this is indeed, this Atma indeed is what you asked for. Now, when we look at, we really have to understand very clearly and carefully when this creation happens, which we have discussed very carefully also. The creation, even though it happens always in keeping with the previous creation. That's why we say the jiva continues all the time. Even after a pralaya. Pralaya means total resolution, total destruction of this creation. Remember. Because all the jivas are part of Hiranyagarbha, that too in seed format, which is being talked very nicely in Matsya Purana. Very figurative way, very describable way. So that's why, because all the truth which cannot be explained for common people, so that's why Purana job is, we say very openly, I am sorry to say, there is a saying, because in fact in my childhood I have heard, but it went to my mind, so okay, till now I never open it, but now I can talk very carefully with due respect, because if anybody listens they will kill me. They say Purana is for, unfortunately, very bad word they use, Stri and Shudra Jati. That is what I was told in my childhood, okay? For, okay, I am polished way giving translation, for emotional people. So, but in reality, the translation will be Stri means woman, Sudra means those who are having lower thinking. They only say, Purana is not for high people. Because those who do not have thinking, that is what the concept is. Only Purana. That's why you can see when Ramayana Pravachana continues, there are thousands of people. Because the beauty is in Ramayana, we have a beautiful saying, that when you go to listen to Ramayana, okay, let me say a story, okay? You know this. In every day one person was going to listen to Ramayana, okay? Because all day working, so because many people in India go to the mutt, go to the temple, go to the discourses as a relaxation. In fact, I had seen in my childhood, evening all the elderly people, all the people come because after working in the field and other things, so they come to the mutt for relaxation. So different type of relaxation. This is, okay, house is away from it, all are together. So sometimes some bhajan will be there, and of course sometimes, you understand? Marijuana, okay, will be there, and what not, wow. So everything is free and interesting. So like that, people have different habits. It's very natural. So one day this person was, regularly this fellow was going because there was a big fellow. And somebody asked, hey, so how is this Ramayana Katha, this discourse? how does it really taste? How does really it mean? He says it's very salty. What is this? Very salty? It's a very new terminology. Yeah, it is very salty. How can you say this? Because actually every time I go to sleep and I slept off. And when I woke up, I discovered there is some water in my mouth. And that was very salty. You understand? Because the fellow slept off. So the dog must have been going around, found out some place, and dog did pee. So the fellow woke up with water and tried to, because the dog ran away. So says that, now look, the Ramayana taste is like salty, very salty. I am not telling you jokes. People do go through. Because in Ramayana the beauty is, you go to and sleep, all these kathas. Moment they go, relax, sleep. Because mind is shut down, okay? So the moment you sleep, when you wake up, you don't lose anything. Because Rama was in the forest. When you entered to the katha, Rama was in forest. When you woke up after 3 hours, still don't worry, Rama is in forest, okay? He has not come out, he has not done anything. So that means you do not lose anything. So you feel very happy, contented. Look, I attended 3 hours some punyam. Look, I did not lose anything. Whereas in Vedanta, every minute matters, you understand? If you miss one point, next point you cannot catch. Definitely there will be a lot of confusion. It doesn't work. So that's why he says beautifully. With this we'll stop. So that's why what we need to look at here is that Hiranyagarbha being Upadana Karana, this is the technical point here. Now the creation arises from Hiranyagarbha, being maintained or sustained by Hiranyagarbha. Again, it goes back to Hiranyagarbha. That's why what we need to do here is we need to understand that Hiranyagarbha means this creation, because Hiranyagarbha is being expressed through the creation. So Hiranyagarbha is none other than Brahman. The creation is none other than Brahman. So that means anything and everything that we see, we experience is Brahman. More of it we'll see tomorrow.